party. There's sometimes people have different things at the masquerade party. And I said, okay, God, what are you saying? He said that your invitation is going to come according to the theme where you are located. See, the theme, it has to match with something that's down on the inside. Lord, have mercy. It has to match with something that's on the inside of you. When you talk about a theme at a masquerade party, that this particular theme, in other words, the Spirit of God said to me that many of my people, they are walking around with a mask on because of the theme that called them out from me has been something that located their desires. Lord, have mercy. It's something that located you. In other words, this invitation had to come, and when it came, it had to be something that you would take note to. Somebody got to understand, just because every invitation is not a good invitation. Just because you're being invited to this particular party. Yes, the people of God have been invited to a masquerade party, and to the point that you got people coming back to the church and saying, why don't you just mask yourself like I'm masking myself? Why don't you just do what I'm doing? And then the next thing you know is that when you are masking yourself, you are going through formality, but the true identity of who you are is not able to come forth. I'm talking about the identity that God called you. I'm talking about the woman that God said that you are. I'm not talking about what the party of this cover up that have smothered you, but I'm talking about the person that God said, I called you up out of darkness into the marvelous light. I have fearfully and wonderfully made you, and although you've been walking around with this mask on, you've been walking around with this mask, and your identity has been hidden. Therefore, what we got going on is an identity crisis. Oh God, in the church, an identity crisis. What do you mean? Because your identity is the true you. Your identity is supposed to be the one where the people can discuss, you can distinguishly characterize you and understand that this is you. Your identity, your fingerprint, your social security number, your identity, which is you, your identity, well, somebody can regard and say, this is who this person is. It's up under a crisis. A crisis. There's an identity crisis because somebody went to the masquerade party. It's an identity crisis, and a crisis is a turning point in the course of something. So that means there is a turning point that's happening with your true identity. And this is the reason, may I share with you, my sisters and my brothers, this is the reason how people who have known God for 18 years can say, I don't know. This is the reason how people who have sold the power of God can say, I don't know what God is doing. I don't know what he wants me to do. You've been doing something all this time. All of a sudden, you don't know what God wants you to do. You are in an identity crisis. Have you been to the masquerade party? Have you been to the masquerade party? An identity crisis. Your true identity is in a crisis. And how do we know this? How we know this, Pastor Vernon? And because we got ministers trying to be a member